Hello, everyone. It's a pleasure to be there. And I thought that today is the first time for me when I am talking from the stage which is outside. Usually everything happens inside, and this is the first time when it's outside. So interesting new experience. Deeper. Can you raise the hand who has heard deeper? I mean the name. Okay, quite a few hands. Very good sign for us. I see unbelievably big market potential. I see potential new customers. Good, we have to work even more. So, that one doesn't work. Where should I point it? Not there, and not there. Yeah, works. Good, so what is deeper? Our story began in 2012 when my colleagues had an idea. Once we went for angling, for fishing, and we tried to use regular sonars. Sonars are a piece of technology which helps to scan underwater, and they show depth and if there is any fish. And they were large, clumsy. You needed boat or yacht or some other vehicle on the water to use it. And we said, why this is so old style? Why there is no small device which could scan everything and send data to mobile phone? And when we had good time, almost 2 years, working really hard developing this product. Today some time has passed, and now we have this slide is also a little bit old. It's 2 months old. So now we have already 56 team members in our office, not far away from this place. Last year we had almost 7 million turnover, and we are selling our product almost in 50 different countries. Actually, more than 50. Why I have been invited to speak to you? I guess because of Deeper. But actually, before that, I have been involved in 4 different other startups. 2 of them were related also to hardware. And one of them failed miserably in 2 months. And another are still working, small companies working in some niche. So I believe that this experience was also very important, and I have learned a lot of things which I could apply later. So, hardware. Hardware is really dirty business. It's not so dirty as narcotics or other illegal stuff, but still, when you decided to go into hardware business, you must realize that it is really related with hardware, and by definition, you have to touch something by your hands. Even if you will decide not to manufacture it by yourself after designing stage, during designing, during testing, get used to dirt. For example, with Deeper, in very initial stage, before launching first version of product, we counted that we spent more than 300 hours testing our product. And we did that outside, not in the office. What does it mean? 300 hours on the rain, when it is cold, -20, on the ice, in the rivers, lakes, and so on. So consider very carefully what kind of product are you going to do. If you will try to design some sheet measurement device, so yeah, be aware of that. Maybe it will be easier if it will be bullshit measurement device working in office environment, so it will not be as dirty. So, also when someone approaches me and asks, what's the difference between software startup and hardware startup? To my mind comes sprint and marathon. Those who are involved in software startups usually use some kind of agile project management system, or let's say the way how they are putting in order their work. And in hardware, this sprint doesn't fit. It's more like marathon. Why? One difference is that when you ship software, you can update it later. You can add new features. You can fix bugs. But when we are talking about hardware, and this exactly hardware part, it's impossible. You have to design the product, test it, and say goodbye after shipping it to your customers. If something bad is happening to your product, you will have to bring it back to your premises, fix, and ship it again. And this is an enormous amount of money, time, and resources. So you have to start running marathon and finish what you have planned from 0 to 100%. Of course, this is not the case for firmware and the software which is running together with your hardware. For example, apps, server-side software. So it still works this minimum viable product concept for those parts. It's a really good idea to have less features and then add them on the go. But hardware must be finished for 100%. OK, complexity. Yesterday, I have been practicing for this presentation, looking at my slides. And I thought, if someone would tell me all this stuff before my first hardware startup, maybe I wouldn't even start and working further. So if someone really wanted to make a hardware startup, it would be a really good idea now to stand up and leave this area. It's dangerous now. So basically, there is no easy business. All businesses are difficult. If you know any easy business, tell me. I'm going to work on it as well. But if we are talking about hardware, the complexity rises maybe twofold, maybe threefold. Why? In regular business, we have to work with sales, with marketing. You have to plan different things. With hardware, you have very interesting part of designing product, physical one. Then arranging all manufacturing, inventory, shipping, and all this physical stuff. If you take, for example, drop shipment, we have very successful another startup in this community. They offer something which is totally different. You can open the shop, even don't have any manufacturing premises, any inventory, and you can start business just in several hours. And you will start selling, getting money, getting revenue very fast. It's totally different if you are going to do hardware. You have to make decisions which are going from the first side. It looks contradictory. For example, when you are designing product, you want to make it the best. It should be highest quality and so on. When you start thinking about marketing and sales, it turns out it will be very expensive. So you have to adjust everything and make decisions, and they will not be, it's impossible later to change them, because you are investing a lot of money into manufacturing processes and so on. So it's quite rigid system. Yeah, and then manufacturing. When you are designing the product, you don't think usually, if it is your first product especially, you don't think how you are going to manufacture it. And one day, you see perfectly working prototype. Actually, they don't exist, perfectly working prototypes. Usually, we have something bad, but later you will fix it. Anyway, you have something on your table which looks shiny, beautiful, and you then get mind into your head. How can I manufacture 500 of them per day, 1,000 of them, 200, maybe, thousands, whatever? And then you understand that your product must be supported by other products which are for manufacturing people. You need some testing equipment, you need packaging, you need processes, you need tools, molds, and so on. Yeah, and then comes numbers, how much you need to invest before starting production. So it's really good idea to plan everything ahead from the very beginning. And a lot of hardware startups fail in this phase. A lot of hardware startups focus on creating, designing products and prototypes, and they forget about next stage, financing of mass manufacturing, and those steps which should be done to put very good product into hands of customer. Then comes marketing, sales, and of course manufacturing. After sales, yeah, it's also interesting part, which is not so difficult with software. Usually you think about your product as the perfect one. You tried it by yourself, you gave it to your friends, to your partners, and it doesn't have any flaws. In reality, when you start shipping your product, you start see something very strange. People usually use your product in ways you have never thought it could be used. When we started to get back our product from customers to after sales, it was like, wow, I was almost crying when I saw what we did to it. We have smashed it, we have thrown them into the rocks, etc. We had various problems, and I have never thought they will come out. So even the best design of a product doesn't guarantee that your clients will understand how to use it. And you need to adjust very fast. And not users are the persons who should be blamed, but exactly you, who have been designing this very good product. So you need at least to try to communicate to your customers how to use the product to get the most value of it. If it is possible, you need to change design and adjust how people are using it. So after sales is very important part as well, supporting your customers, understanding your mistakes, adjusting, and then shipping even better product. So why hardware? It sounds really bad, yes? Everything is difficult, complex, you have a lot of work to do, but still, I'm working with hardware. There are several reasons. One reason is that I like it. From the early days, I have been designing something, I have been building something, so for me it's really interesting. Another thing is that you can create a lot of value for your customers. If you find really interesting idea how to solve a problem of some certain big group of people, definitely you can be successful. Designing and solving the problem of other people is really interesting. From business perspective, it's quite difficult to enter in a hardware business. But if you've done that successfully, also those barriers for some short, at least short of time, saves you as well from those who want to enter into this business. Also, now it's becoming easier and easier to design and to manufacture a hardware. Those barriers, which were really high 20, 30 years ago, now are much lower. It's easier to design products, to make electronics, etc. And it's really good opportunity to do that. And those who are focusing mostly on clients, on their problems, on solving them, they can be really successful. So why should you do hardware? You should ask this question for yourself. And the main answer must be the skills which you have with your team. Also, you must gather the team which can cover those complex things quite early and start working on them. Of course, product design is the most important. And if you understand people, if you understand the problem which you want to solve, if you have skills, you can do that. And it's a really good way. There are cases when people have imagined problems of other people. And there are a lot of products in software, in hardware, when people are sitting somewhere on the table, on the sofa. They try to imagine what problems exist. And a lot of those problems do not exist. People are solving them in some other way. And your suggestion or suggested way of solving those problems are not interesting for them. They are not going to buy your product. So whatever, if it is hardware or software, you must be sure that problem is really existing. And only then go and try to solve it, creating some hardware or software or hardware and software. Another question which arises often, why in Lithuania? Lithuania is not so well known for hardware products, and especially consumer electronic products. But this situation is like something is buried inside deeper. We have really good infrastructure for that. We have amazing people who have skills. We have infrastructure of manufacturing companies. They are not so well known because they are doing their business silently. They are manufacturing tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands devices, and we are manufacturing for some other companies. Usually those companies are from abroad, from Europe, from Germany, from Scandinavia. But in Lithuania we can manufacture easily, and we can scale from tens of devices per day up to thousands and even 100,000 of devices per day. I'm talking about electronics, and we have companies in Kaunas, in Vilnius, in Šiauliai, who have really good capacities for electronics. As well, we have a lot of companies who are working with plastic, with metal processing, and so on. So infrastructure is here, and knowledge is here. We can easily outsource them, and we can easily scale from small-scale production to high-scale production. Also, if you consider the time zone where we are living, we are in perfect situation. In the morning, we can talk to Chinese partners. We are also buying some parts from China and shipping them to Lithuania. So we are able to talk with them over Skype or the phone call, whatever. And in the same working day, in the evening, we are able to talk to USA. We have a lot of customers in USA. So we don't need two shifts or something like that. We can cover Europe, US, and China in the same time zone. It's really good opportunity as well. Lithuania is also considered as a European country. When you think about this, it's strange, yeah? We are Europeans, yes. And this is seen as advantage in a lot of countries all over the world. We trust Europeans as those who can deliver what they promise. And let's say this positive discrimination, this label, gives a lot of value, and we can utilize this as well. Yeah, so this is the last slide, but I have something else to tell you. I was not talking about pitfalls of hardware development and hardware business. I would like to share some insights, let's say, When you have some successful company, it's really difficult to tell what was success, why it is successful, and even to define what is success. Why? One reason is that you have to do a lot of things proper in proper way to achieve success. And it's very difficult to point one thing. Usually it is good idea, it is really good team, it is really good management, and some of those components leads to success. It's very easy to pinpoint the reason of failure. Usually it's enough to fail one time with one thing, and you will not have success. And it's easier to list those things which lead to unsuccess. So when we are talking about hardware, the most crucial, I would say, thing is quality and quality assurance. When you will decide to start manufacturing, some companies are trusting external partners unconditionally. Like, okay, we have agreement, we have agreed, they will manufacture for us, we will ship, and everything will be good. If something goes wrong, we will blame it, the partner, and that's all. It doesn't work that way. You are responsible for your product, and you must ensure that the product will always be highest quality and the best product. And if something bad is happening, so you will be the person who must go to the manufacturing premises, try to understand what went wrong, and your face will be in front of your customers. And you will not hear what has happened wrong and why something is not working. So don't forget that. And when you are building your business from the early days, my advice is to focus always on quality and of stability of your product quality. So basically, that's all what I wanted to share today with you. I hope that after 1 year or 2 years, we will have even more hardware startups successfully growing and talking from the stage, sharing their own experience, and even more business working in this area. So, great success for you. Learn from each other, listen to interesting announcements, interesting presentations, and thank you very much.